The scent of jasmine lingered in the air, a nostalgic reminder of our wedding day that was now a decade in the past. 10 years, years filled with laughter, tears, and the quiet moments that built the life we shared within these walls. I had always believed that our relationship was as solid as the foundation that supported our home. Yet tonight, as I stood in the doorway of our living room, I felt an unsettling shift in the atmosphere that made the air feel heavier, almost suffocating. The room was bathed in the warm glow of a lamp, casting soft shadows that danced along the walls like fleeting memories. Amanda, my wife, moved gracefully in that light, her eyes closed and a smile playing on her lips. She appeared to be lost in the familiar melody of our wedding song, her body swaying gently in rhythm, embodying the joy that once defined our love. But as the violin swelled, an overwhelming wave of melancholy washed over me, pulling me deeper into a pool of despair that I had never anticipated. Earlier that afternoon, I had stumbled upon a text message that shattered my world into a million irreparable pieces. Hidden among mundane grocery lists and reminders, it was a message not meant for my eyes, yet there it was, undeniable and raw. The name of the sender, a stranger to me, now burned into my memory like a brand. "Can't wait to see you tonight, beautiful. Thinking about you all day." The words twisted in my gut, a jagged shard of betrayal that pierced my heart. The image of Amanda's hands, which I once thought were solely mine, now sending messages of love to someone else, felt like a betrayal that I couldn't comprehend, a theft of trust that left me gasping for air. For hours, I had stared at that text, grappling with a feeling so foreign it left me breathless. My mind raced through a labyrinth of emotions, confusion, anger, sadness, and an eerie sense of isolation. And now, as I watched her dance, oblivious to the storm brewing within me, the music that used to represent our love felt like ash in my mouth, a bitter reminder of what was slipping away. She twirled, the fabric of her dress swirling around her legs, a ghost of the girl I once married. It wasn't just the dress that made her beautiful tonight, it was the thrill of someone else's embrace that lit up her face, a thrill that overshadowed the memories we had created together. When the final note of the song faded into silence, I knew I had to confront her. I stepped into the room, the envelope I had been clutching feeling like a ticking time bomb, ready to detonate the fragile facade of our life together. As I placed it squarely on the coffee table, Amanda's smile faltered, her eyes fluttering open with confusion, the remnants of our shared joy still clinging to her. "What's that?" she asked, her voice breathy, laced with uncertainty. I met her gaze with an unyielding stare, devoid of warmth, the fire of betrayal burning behind my eyes. "It's your freedom," I replied, my voice flat and distant, even to my own ears. Her brow furrowed in confusion, and I could see the gears turning in her mind as she tried to process my words. "My freedom? What are you talking about?" "It's divorce papers, Amanda," I stated bluntly, watching her reaction as the words landed like stones, shattering the fragile peace we had been trying to maintain. The color drained from her face as she processed the reality of my words, the breath escaping her lungs in a soft gasp. "What are you saying?" she whispered, her wide eyes reflecting panic, as if she were trying to wake from a nightmare that felt all too real. "Don't play dumb with me," I snapped, my voice hardening, the dam of my emotions threatening to burst. "I know about him. I saw the texts, the meetings, the lies. Every single one of them." The floodgates of my pent-up emotions burst open, and I felt the weight of the betrayal crash over me like a tidal wave. "You cheated on me with someone else. The marriage you swore to uphold, to me, to God, it was all a lie." She opened her mouth to deny it, but the words were strangled in her throat. Her eyes darted to the envelope, then back at me, panic and shame battling for dominance on her face. I didn't mean to hurt you. It just happened. He makes me feel alive," she stammered, her voice trembling as she searched for an explanation, a justification for her actions that I knew would never be enough. "Alive," I echoed, a hollow laugh escaping my lips, devoid of humor. "So what am I then? Just dead weight. A boring old relic in the corner of your exciting new life." The anger surged within me, fueled by the memories of the promises we once made to each other, the vows exchanged with such hope and sincerity. Were all those declarations of love meant for him too, or was that just me you were lying to? "No, you don't understand," she protested, her voice quivering as she tried to cling to the remnants of our shared history. "I still love you. It's just—" "Oh, I understand perfectly, Amanda," I interrupted, my tone dripping with sarcasm, an emotional armor against the hurt. You loved the idea of me, the security I provided, but not me, the man I actually am. I was good enough to build a life with, but not good enough to be faithful to. Was I? I watched as she crumbled before me, the facade of composure finally cracking under the weight of reality. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she sank onto the sofa, her body shaking with sobs that echoed the heartbreak surrounding us. But my heart felt nothing. Compassion had died the moment I read that text, leaving behind a void filled with betrayal. I've already spoken to a lawyer, I continued, pulling the divorce agreement from the envelope, my hand steady despite the turmoil within. This is the agreement. I'm getting everything. The house, the car, everything. You'll be taking nothing. Do you understand? Her tear-filled eyes sparked with defiance, a flicker of the woman I once knew. You can't do that, she protested, but I placed the document on the coffee table, neatly aligning it with the divorce papers, each word a finality that echoed in the silence of the room. I already did, I said, my voice steady, resolute as I pointed at the agreement. Read it. Your lawyer's name is there too, the best in the city. Someone I'm sure you'll be hearing from shortly. I'm already gone. I've moved out. Her gaze fell to the papers, her eyes scanning the legal jargon, each word a hammer blow to the world she had so carelessly constructed. The color drained from her face, replaced by an ashen gray as the reality settled in. It was all happening, it was all real, and there was no turning back. I'm leaving now, I said, grabbing my keys from the side table, the weight of my decision hanging heavily in the air. I'll send someone to get the rest of my things. I walked toward the door, but paused just before crossing the threshold, the weight of the moment pressing against my chest. Enjoy your new life, Amanda. Enjoy being alive, I added, a final sting in my words. With a definitive click, I locked the door behind me, punctuating the end of our fractured existence. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. As I made my way to the car, I felt the weight of her world crashing down, piece by piece, the echoes of what we once shared now replaced by the silence of unfulfilled promises. For the first time in a long time, a flicker of peace ignited within me, a spark of hope rising from the ashes of despair. I was leaving behind the shattered remnants of a life I once cherished, never to return. The road ahead would undoubtedly be difficult, filled with uncertainty and the shadows of memories that would haunt me. But deep down, I knew I would emerge stronger and wiser, a survivor of my own heart's betrayal. Meanwhile, she, so confident in her new life, would be left with nothing but the echoes of her choices. As the engine turned over and I drove away from the house, the symphony of our once perfect life faded into the night, leaving only the ghost of the woman I once loved. Where she used to be, only an empty space remained, a poignant reminder of the love that had vanished into thin air.